G'day everyone, I am the man called Kemosabe, the man with a plan from the land down under, and I'm sure you guys have seen this article by now. There's been plenty of videos on it and I've watched a few, but none of the ones I saw touched on the angle that I felt needed to be talked about. This whole thing is about money. Not that Antifa twink Cap will make money, but the clout they get by destroying and rebuilding your favourite characters puts them in a position to capitalise on and make that paper. When you read the article, you'll see it's not as clickbaity as the title suggests. Wearing a Captain America cosplay and carrying a garbage can lid doesn't make you Marvel's new Captain America. It makes you foolish at best, mentally unstable, and a danger to yourself and others at worst. The article clearly states this guy, Aaron Fisher, is just some street kid who dresses in Cap-like attire to help other street people. They call them unhoused. They don't want to say the homeless, but they want to capitalise on that guilt. You've got a home, they don't. Just give your home to those unfortunate people, bigot. We'll keep living in our gated, security guard patrolled communities, but you feel bad for your shoebox apartment that eats up 80% of your wage every week. The idea of the story is that Cap gets his shield stolen, a variation of the classic I'm more than a shield idea that's been done at least 3 times I can think of. Cap has to travel across America to find it, and along the way he comes across a bunch of people using his name, or at least his image. Much like the guy wearing hockey pads in The Dark Knight, Aaron Fisher is no substitute for the real deal. But of course the clickbait title implies that he will be replacing Cap. Who knows, after all this outrage, maybe they will do some story where Fisher replaces Cap just to piss you off more. That always seems to be their goal. It's certainly not about selling comics now, is it? It's about outrage. Quesada's flawed premise that an outraged fan will buy your comic to see the train wreck in real time no longer applies, as people have been abandoning the big two for a decade now. There was a lot of outrage when the first articles went live, tailored to trigger a knee-jerk response. If the articles don't make you mad, then you don't click. If you don't click, they don't get ad revenue. Street rap Cap wannabe with all the Antifa trimmings is a throwaway summer annual issue one-off story idea. The kid who would be Captain America, who dies saving someone less capable even than him. Cap's unable to save the kid from himself despite warning the kid off emulating him, and he dies a hero. Cap mourns him and carries his slender frame off panel, and we're reminded of the power of a selfless sacrifice. It'd be a serviceable story. That's not what we're getting here. We're getting something designed to alienate fans. Not designed by the artist, I don't think. He's just happy to have LGBTQIA+ representation wrapped in the American flag. Alienated fans are angry fans, and angry fans no longer buy comic books. Look at the article, look at the wording. All new gay Captain America. That's already untrue. He's not Captain America. He doesn't replace Captain America. He doesn't call himself Captain America. The article goes on to say Cap remains Cap, and this kid is wearing clothes inspired by the hero. So they're lying in the heading. Why? Because most people don't read any further than that. If they can piss you off with the heading, they will. The subheading. Marvel introduces a brand new hero. No, he's not a hero. He's a kid with a garbage can lid who protects homeless people from, I don't know, each other? Are muggers really trying to jack up the homeless for their fingerless gloves? Is it the early 2000s and frat boys are paying hobos to fight each other on camera? Isn't the majority of violence against the homeless committed by other homeless? It's a community that preys on itself. A brand new hero to wield Captain America's shield. This guy's wielding a garbage can lid. Sure, he might get his hands on the real shield at some point in the story, but it'll be only for a minute and there's no way he could use it effectively. Cap's shield is such a useful weapon because of his strength and his experience using it. Now look at the article itself. Marvel Comics has unveiled a new hero that will become the latest version of Captain America, Aaron Fisher, a gay teenager who will wield the shield. There's no evidence that he will wield the shield, and like I mentioned before, it'd be symbolic only. He looks like he'd barely be able to heft it, let alone use it offensively. They call him a new hero, but he has no powers, no equipment, and apparently no real training. Now we can argue the definition of a hero, but in the Marvel Universe it's a lot easier to delineate. When Civil War was happening, if this kid was active, would they require him to sign up to the Superhero Registration Act? He's no Iron Fist, no Prowler, no Daredevil. The average flatfoot would bundle this kid up in the back of a police van, and that's the end of the issue. Of course, this is the world where 90-pound women defeat grown men, trained soldiers in close-quarters combat, so don't look for realism here. I'm sure Aaron and his garbage can lid will be eminently effective against AIM, Hydra, and all those dreaded Nazis that plague the streets of America these days. This book is designed to contribute to the degradation of the man behind the mask, the idea that only Bruce Wayne is Batman, only Clark Kent is Superman, and only Steve Rogers can be Captain America. The big two have been race and gender swapping their biggest names regularly for over a decade now. It's very important to their agenda, to Marvel, to the mouse, and to the forces that run these companies, that we no longer see heroes as their alter egos, because those alter egos are dangerous. Not only are they overwhelmingly straight white males, a crime in itself, but they are aspirational. They give people something to aspire to. Batman is the best a man can be. Iron Man pushes human ingenuity and arrogance to the limits, the kind of limits that will one day take mankind to the stars, if we last that long. Cap shows us what a regular man can do if he's willing to stand up to a bully, and Superman gives us something to look up to and aspire to. Wishing Superman was here to solve our problems is a child's mentality, but it lets us see the problems exist, and makes us want to be better people to deal with them. The forces that run the agenda that is shaping the nations don't want aspirational. They want control, they want guilt, so they are rapidly erasing not just the alter egos, breaking these characters to the point where they cannot be repaired, to the point where lifelong fans walk away because seeing what the heroes have become is too painful, but they are also erasing the idea that any particular person is a hero. They are implementing the idea that the hero's title is something that can be passed from one person to another as they see fit. I'm not talking about the time when Rhodey stood in for Tony or when John Walker was called Captain America. Those were organic, natural storylines, pre-progressive stack, pre-critical race theory, and pre-grievance culture. The fans wouldn't have pushed back against a Falcon Cap so hard if it had happened at a different time, if there weren't more worthy successors, and if Cap wasn't screwed over to accommodate the change. The people that were mad about Falcon Cap were mad because it was the last in a long line of race and gender swaps that devalued and deconstructed the heroes. And these examples highlight another idea. When you see merchandise, or even more importantly, when you buy the merchandise, whose image is on it? When you buy a drink bottle for your kid with Captain America on it, which Captain America is it? Is it Bucky, or Sam, or John Walker, or Aaron Fisher, or the British female Peggy Carter Captain America, which made no sense whatsoever? Is it the American Dream or Vance Astro? He carried the shield for a while. Or is it Superman, who also carried the shield for an issue? No, it's Steve Rogers. When you buy a Batman pencil case, is it Jason or Dick or Damian or Lucius Fox who's plastered all over the item? No, it's Bruce Wayne. Ultimately, the iconic original versions of these characters are the lasting ones, the ones that will outlast the identity politics, the race and the gender swaps. And they know it. This story is hardly worth the flurry of internet traffic it got when it was first announced, but of course it was framed in such a way that it would elicit that response. Rather than go off on social media, I prefer to wait a couple of days to clarify information. Usually to boost flagging interest, a second outrage comes with the clarity, an additional piece of bait to churn the waters of the news cycle, and here it is. It's foolish to assume it's only conservatives that are angry about the twink street rat cap wannabe, but the window on what's left and right has shifted so much that everyone not them is a literal Nazi now. The bigger lie is that there wasn't as much outrage when the Secret Empire storyline retconned Cap as a Hydra agent, and by proxy into a literal Nazi. This is gaslighting, a deliberate rewriting of actual events to suit one agenda, one narrative, and to 1984 the truth of what happened. We were always at war with East Asia. Anecdotally, I think the backlash to Secret Empire, aka the Nazi Cap event, was the biggest fan movement against Marvel ever. Taking one of the most beloved characters, the one hero that best represents America, from any comic book company, and making him the very antithesis of what he stands for was a cruel, petty, evil move on Marvel's part, and the boycott of Marvel products it produced is still being felt to this day. For many people suffering through Jane Foster Thor and Riri Williams Iron Man, Asian Soy Boy Hulk and the absolute mess that Ms. Marvel / Captain Marvel has become, turning Cap into a Nazi was the final straw. To say there was more outrage over Aaron Fisher than there was Nazi Cap is a lie, an outrageous lie. Aaron Fisher debuts in June, just in time for Pride Month. Then he'll be forgotten about. DC produced a whole line for marginalised voices during Black History Month. They got lots of screen time from the usual suspects, comic book and pop culture journalism. Where is it now? Where's the support, the ads, the articles? Where's the reviews saying how valid and worthy the books are? They aren't here because they don't exist, just like the big two support for minorities don't really exist. Have you seen Tom Hanks in Philadelphia? The scene in the sauna? Do you really think Fortune 500 CFOs don't make gay jokes? You think they're fighting for you because they changed the corporate Twitter profile pic to a black square or a 6-colour rainbow for 4 weeks out of the year? Those who call themselves marginalised, a definition they invite, need to stop letting themselves be used as shields for huge corporations. But they can't, because they can't get into the industries on merit. And so they have to stack the deck with identity politics, subvert characters, then restrict working on them to people who share those characteristics. This new rule doesn't apply to white men, though. Anyone can write them because white people have no culture and straight men are evil. Tell that to Christopher Priest. Tell him he can't write a Chinese character or a Latina lead. One tweet I saw opined Aaron would be lucky to last 6 issues. I don't think he'll even get that far. He'll likely be forgotten about by July, unless the outrage Marvel is farming from this is sufficient to justify a longer run to continue to anger fans and hammer home that the mouse owns these characters, and there is nothing you can do about it. Or is there? Money talks and bullshit walks. Vote with your wallet. Vote indie. Build your own characters, your own worlds. Build something they can't take away from you, or if they do, is because they paid you huge sums of money to make it worth your while. Get creating, get paid, get free of their agenda. The only winning move in this game is not to play.